Formula One rivalries date back to the beginning of the sport in 1950. A lot of these fights happen on and off the track. Some battles have been fair, while others have not. But they are all made up of some of the best Formula One drivers in the sport's history. Over the years, many of these rivalries have come down to the wire in world championships. From 1975 to the present, these are the 5 most famous rivalries in F1. Before they moved to Formula One, James Hunt and Niki Lauda raced against each other in the junior ranks. They even lived together before they became rivals. James Hunt won his first world championship title at the Dutch Grand Prix in 1975. He later said that it was the best race of his life. At the beginning of the next year, Lauda won 4 of the first 6 races, while Hunt won the other 2. On August 1, 1976, at the German Grand Prix, Lauda lost control of his race car and hit the wall on a turn. The race car caught on fire and bounced back into the middle of the track, where Lauda was hit by another race car. Even though Lauda miraculously recovered from his near-fatal accident in time for the Italian Grand Prix, Hunt had closed the gap between him and Lauda during Lauda's absence. At the Japanese Grand Prix, the last race of the season, Hunt was only 3 points behind Lauda. Hunt beat his rival and won the 1976 World Championship by winning the Japanese Grand Prix. Lauda got back on track and won his second world title in 1977. In 1984, he won his third world title. During the 1980s and the 1990s, Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna's rivalry was the most important F1 rivalry of that time. In 1988, they were both on McLaren. They started to dislike each other. Even though they were on the same team at the time, McLaren Honda, Prost and Senna became fierce rivals as they became the best racers in the world. Prost was the clear favorite to win the championship at the start of the 1988 season, but Senna beat him thanks to his daring and creative driving. In the 1988 Japanese Grand Prix, Senna's engine would die, putting him in 14th place. Senna was able to move up 10 spots over the course of 4 laps. He eventually caught up to Prost and won the race, which gave him his first world championship. Off the track, tensions started to rise between the two. Prost said that McLaren was favoring Senna over him. The next year in 1989, Senna and Prost would win each other's races again. When the Japanese Grand Prix came around, tensions were at their highest point ever. On lap 47 of the race, Senna passed Prost, which caused them to crash. While Prost got out of the car, Senna pushed his car back on the track and got himself back in the race. By the time Senna crossed the finish line, the FIA had already taken away his win. Because of this, Prost won the World Championship and made the decision to leave McLaren and join Ferrari. So the 1990 season was the most heated part of their long-running rivalry. As they went into the Japanese Grand Prix, Senna and Prost were again tied for the title. Senna would win the title if he finished ahead of Prost, or if both of them crashed out. On the first turn of the race, Senna tried to pass Prost quickly, but he crashed into his rival, which got them both kicked out of the race. Senna won the World Championship because he was the only driver to finish the race. After the race, Prost was furious and said that Senna was disgusting and a man without honor. In 1993, Prost became a driver for Williams, but there was a clause in his contract that said Senna couldn't be on the same team as him. After Prost won the World Championship in 1993, he would quit Formula One, putting an end to the rivalry. Senna crashed at the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix, and a few hours later, he was pronounced dead. After they got over their rivalry, Prost was one of those people who helped Senna to his final resting place. Many Formula One fans say that this is the best rivalry ever. Mika Hakkinen was a tough opponent for Michael Schumacher, even though he had won a record 7 world championships. Even though they were fierce rivals on the track, they never showed it off the track, which is unusual in the world of Formula One. Even before they were in F1, Schumacher and Hakkinen were in races that got pretty heated. Like the Macau Grand Prix Formula 3 in 1990, Hakkinen lost the race because of a crash near the end. During the 1998 season, they were tied at the top of the standings when they went to Suzuka. During this race, Schumacher had a lot of bad luck. He stalled on the pole, which helped Hakkinen win the title. In 1999, Schumacher was in an accident that broke his leg. He had to miss 6 races because of this. When he went back to Malaysia, he was able to take the top spot. Even though Schumacher came back quickly, Hakkinen would win the world title twice in a row. But Schumacher got his own back in the 2000 season when he beat Hakkinen at Suzuka to win the title. From then on, Schumacher and Ferrari would win every season for the next few years. Hakkinen retired from Formula 1 in 2001. Hamilton and Rosberg have been racing each other since they were in karts. Over the years, they have become friends because of this. Most people think Lewis Hamilton is the best Formula 1 driver ever because he's won more races than any other driver in history. In 2013, Hamilton finished ahead of Rosberg in their first season together. Rosberg had more experience, but Hamilton was the more skilled and strategic driver. He had mastered the art of keeping his tires in good shape, driving in the rain, and overall racecraft. In 2014 and 15, Hamilton beat Rosberg to win the championship, which made things even worse between the two. When they ran into each other, they were in a race at the 2014 Bahrain Grand Prix and in Spain. In 2016, Rosberg would finally win the title after Hamilton had a few bad starts. During the 4 years that they raced together, Hamilton won 1,334 points, and Rosberg won 1,195 points. Rosberg quit the sport at the end of the 2016 season, which was a great way to end his career. Max Verstappen became Hamilton's main rival in 2017 after Rosberg left the sport. At first, Hamilton and Verstappen didn't race against each other much. Verstappen was trying to win a few races a season, while Hamilton was trying to win the title for himself and Mercedes. Since then, the rivalry between Mercedes and Red Bull has gotten worse. There are now crashes and always something going on. Most recently, a dispute over the 2021 season's last race has added fuel to the fire. At the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the winner of the World Championship would be chosen. Nicholas Latifi crashed into the wall at turn 14 right before the last lap. This brought out the safety car and slowed the race down. While the safety car was coming onto the track, Verstappen went into the pits to get brand new tires. At this point, it had been decided that cars behind the safety car would not pass it. After the accident was cleaned up, the decision was changed so that the 5 cars between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen could get ahead of them. This put Verstappen right behind Hamilton with a brand new set of tires. Even though Hamilton fought hard, Verstappen was able to pass the Mercedes car and win his first world title. As the 2023 season gets closer, it will be interesting to see how these two teams continue to compete.